morning, good afternoon, good evening. Right, to continue on in our taboo romance thing that we are doing right now, if you didn't check out the last video, I'll link it up for you, where I, for the first time, read like 5 forbidden/taboo romance stories, so you gotta check that out. And this one I didn't want to include in that because I didn't know whether I wanted to read it. This book was banned on Amazon, I'm pretty sure, and is quite infamous and controversial. It is called The Wild by Kay Webster. I'm going to go into this knowing quite a bit about it already. I know certain things that happen within the book. I also know the twist at the end. And it's extremely controversial because within the book there is a romance between a father and a daughter. They move off into the woods, live in a cabin, I think, and lots of shit goes down. It is an extremely dark and twisted tale. Now, when I was looking into this book, I was watching loads of people's reviews on YouTube and reading a ton of Goodreads reviews, and people don't sit in the middle on this. You are either going to love this by the signs of it and give it 5 stars because it's so twisted and messed up, or you're gonna give it 1 star and absolutely hate it. It's gonna be a Marmite book. Now, I am not here to bash the author. It is a work of fiction, all right? Everyone has the right to write whatever they want to write, no matter how dark or twisted it may be. And also, I ain't gonna bash any readers that give this 5 stars, because like what you want to like, read what you want to read, more power to you if you love this book. That's all I'm saying. Let people read what they want to read. I want to go into this with an open mind. I know that a lot of shit goes down in this book, and it's meant to make you feel uncomfortable because of the warning that the author gives you at the start of the book. Now let me read the warning. Wild is an extremely taboo story. Most will find the themes in this book will make you incredibly uncomfortable or maybe even offend you. This book is only for the brave, the open-minded, and the ones who crave love in even the most dismal of situations. Extreme sexual themes and violence in certain scenes which could trigger emotional distress are found in this story. If you are sensitive to heavy taboo themes, then this story is not for you. Seriously, you've been warned. Don't say I didn't try. You're probably going to cringe many, many, many times. Even if you're on the fence, it's probably not a good idea to proceed. However, if you're intrigued and fearless and kind of sort of trust me, then carry on. This book is for you. So, I am going to be reading this, and we'll be doing a vlog where I can just like catch you up every so often, whenever I feel like I have something to say. It'll be completely spoiled, this book, so if you don't want this book spoiled for you, don't watch this. I'm going in with a completely open mind, and I'm going to see how I feel about this book. Okay? Okay. And also, huge trigger warning, there's going to be many themes within this book that I already know about that are not going to be nice to listen to for a lot of people. So, you have been warned. Incest, sexual assault, all these kind of things that I know pop up in this book are going to be mentioned here. So if you don't want to hear it, I'm not going to hold back on talking about it as I go through the book and give you my thoughts and talk about what the book is about and what's going on. So there's your warning. This is a kind of video I have never done before, so I've got plenty of other videos on my channel on books that are just, you know, just books that people enjoy that haven't been banned off Amazon and include a father-daughter relationship like that. So without further ado, okay, I'm 7% of the way through so far. So the book starts off with, you've got the dad, the mom, and the daughter. They have recently lost their son. They lost their son. The mother has fallen into a horrific deep depression for years. So the father decides to liquidate his multi-million-dollar business and buy a massive plot of land in Alaska as a last-ditch attempt to try and save his family, bring his wife Sabrina out of this horrific depression. You can tell he's really angry towards her being depressed, that she's choosing to live in this dark bubble of her depression so she can stay with her lost son instead of being there for the daughter that they have. You can tell he's angry throughout at her. Then we just got to a scene now where they're currently staying in an RV on their land until he can build them like a house out there. And he goes into the bedroom. The mum is naked in bed, which he sees as an invitation, and how this is the only thing that they can do together, that having sex together basically, that is the only thing holding them together. However, she says no. She's pretty much just lying there in this deep state of depression, and she says no. It's the only thing she says to him, and just lies there. He ignores her, carries on, which is rape, by the way. And it's a very like, oh my god. And then once he's finished, she's just lying there like so numb, so out of it. And then he gets really angry about it. And feels really pissed off that he can't, in his head, he can't bring her back. It's like, well, she is severely depressed. She just said, no, I don't want to have sex with you. You carried on having sex with her anyway. So yeah, that's where we're up to right now. Okay, 7% through. It's only gonna get darker in it. All right, time for an update. We're about just over 20% through. Let me catch you up on what's been going on. This is your last chance to back out of this video if you don't want to hear details, okay? Go now. There is a scene, this is from Devon, the daughter's point of view. It is a dual point of view book between her and her dad. She hears her parents having sex in the RV. And she starts to pleasure herself because she's getting aroused by it. And she's extremely ashamed and confused by why she's getting aroused. But anyway, after that, she falls back to sleep, and then there's a huge thunderstorm that is battering their RV. Thunder, lightning, rain, wind. She gets terrified and goes into her parents' bedroom and lies in between her mum and dad. At this point, her dad thinks that it's Sabrina, his wife, cuddling into him. This is all from the daughter's point of view. So he starts to touch her, thinking the whole time that it's his wife. The daughter starts to enjoy it and doesn't want it to stop. She doesn't want to tell him, I'm your daughter, I'm not your wife, and you're touching me there. Okay? He then suddenly realizes what he is doing, jumps out of bed, is completely like gagging, like disgusted, horrified at the whole situation, and runs out. After he runs out, this storm, basically, because they're situated on the edge of a cliff, great place to park your RV, by the way. The storm gets so bad that the land slides from underneath them and throws the RV 200 feet down the cliff. He gets knocked out, he wakes up, goes into the bedroom, finds her, the RV's on its side, completely smashed up, and finds his daughter like pinned by branches there. He frees her, and he's like, where's your mum? Where is Sabrina? Where is your mother? Instead of going to immediately find them, I know you're pretty battered up, you both got like a concussion, you're bleeding and stuff like that, they decide to fall asleep. As you do, instead of going to find this poor mother who has been so severely depressed, but we're just gonna kill her off now. They go and find her, and her death is really gruesome. She is hanging from a tree. Her arm is pretty much completely ripped from her body. She's upside down, like dead. Thing is, it was a really horrific death for her mother, yet they get over it real quick. I know you're in a survival situation right now. They get it down from the tree, yada yada, but then it goes on very quick. I know you've got to, try and get shelter, deal with this later, maybe compartmentalize it in your head, whatever. But it just seems like they're over the mother now. This mother that he was always angry with for being severely depressed, blamed her for her own depression, for losing her child, and now suddenly they're just over it and they're just carrying on, as you do. I felt absolutely nothing for the mother dying, absolutely nothing, because there seemed to be just a moment of, oh my god, this is horrific, yada yada, okay, we're just gonna move on. Again, I know you gotta survive in this situation, they're in a really precarious situation, but I'm still waiting for it to come back to the, oh my god, this image would probably scar my child for life. If not me, then my daughter's gonna be horrified. The daughter doesn't seem to be very horrified. She's just got the hots for a dad at the moment. So we're about 21% through. At this point, the daughter is still enjoying looking at her dad in certain ways, trying to touch him in certain ways, and he is like, no, oh my god, what the fuck have I done? I have screwed my child up with that one big mistake that happened in that bedroom. He's angry, disgusted, yada yada, and in his head he's trying to battle between looking after her at this moment because she's really hurt her ankle, needs to look after his daughter in a fatherly way, and also dealing with everything in his head of what happened that night. So that's where we're at. It was very ridiculous, I think, how the mother died, and no shits have been given about her at all, really. Got her dad, fine, it's done. The daughter is just crushing on her dad now, and alright, yeah, sure. God, I hope my neighbours can't hear me. I swear to God, this book is like some goddamn fever dream. It is so bizarre. Like I need to lie on this couch and have some sort of therapy session. Right, I'm just under halfway through the book. They've now started engaging, well they have since like 30%, in a sexual relationship. Fine, okay. Not fine at all. And it's weird and disconcerting. Anyway, she falls pregnant, right? Yes, doctor, she falls pregnant. She gets pregnant, her father figures it out, she figures it out but doesn't want to tell him, he already knows. He's super distant and angry because he said that he's scared that he's going to lose her if she gives birth and something goes wrong and she's going to die and then he'll be left with no one. Father of the year over here, really concerned about his daughter. Yeah, okie dokie. So, when the whole thing comes out and he's like, I know you're pregnant, and she's like, yes, I'm pregnant, he gets really, really angry through his grief and panic that she's going to die giving birth, that he takes his belt off
and spanks her with it. Like, she's pregnant for one, may I say. 2, you have anger issues, my friend. Again, sorry, I know, Father of the Year, your award is in the post. And then they have sex, and okay. Now, there's more. Because of course there's more. I'm not even halfway through the book and there's more. It's such a weird, I don't know. I don't know why I'm laughing, it's so messed up. These guys broke into the cabin, they pin the dad down, overpower him, and then in front of him, gang rape his daughter. So roughly and brutally that she miscarries. And that's where we're at. I'm sorry, doctor, I need another session. It hasn't been long since our last appointment, but I'm getting kind of desperate here. So more ridiculous things are happening, of course. So, even though he was absolutely terrified of his daughter/lover, I gotta laugh or I'll cry, honestly. Or throw up, I don't know. He wants to get her pregnant again as quickly as possible. Of course, anyway. He goes off to, because the people that came in and gang raped his daughter, one of them survived and was able to run away. So he's off hunting them to kill, I think his name's Nathaniel, the guy who was left, finds them in the woods, in a cabin. There's 2 guys who are in the lounge. He kills them. They're not Nathaniel though. Why not though? Kill them too. Just in case they come and hurt his daughter. And then he hears sex from the back room. So we have another really messed up scene. Because he goes in there. It's Nathaniel in there having sex with someone we cannot see. He pulls him off and you find out he's having sex, he's raping his young sister, as in she's like 11 or something. He kills him, brutally destroys him. And then this poor young girl is like sat on the bed and she says, "Thank you for killing him." And I was like, oh God. And he threatens her, this poor girl, threatens her, like, don't ever come and steal from our cabin, don't come anywhere near our cabin. However, if you need our help, we're here for you. Okay? It's like, can you survive by yourself? And she was like, yeah. So he gives her a can of peaches out of his bag. And then as he's walking away, he hears her open the can and it's like slurping the peaches out. And he's like, she'll be dead within the week. You just found, I'm sorry, like a 10, 11-year-old girl who oh my God. And by the sounds of it, they're all taking turns with her, all the brothers. Oh no, it's what am I reading? And then you leave her there. You leave her there with a can of peaches thinking she'll die within the week. You know that. You don't get, he's like turned into like some sort of animal. He really has. He even describes himself as turning into some sort of like feral animal out in the wild. Is that meant to make us feel good about you? Is this meant to be a redeeming quality for your character? So anyway, that's you caught up. How far am I through? Is the end near? Please say it's near. 57%. I'm not even. Damn it. All right. Back to it. I'm sorry, before I go, doctor, I do need to discuss how he is the worst person ever in the world. Obviously. I think we can all attest to that. He's sleeping with his daughter. However, these flashbacks to his poor wife, like, he never gave a fuck about her. She's so deep in depression. And there is a flashback, right? Not long before they go to Alaska. Did I actually tell you the daughter, the start of this was 16, then she's turned 17? Yeah, just before they go to Alaska, he's having a flashback of when she's in a hot tub, his daughter, and they decide to go swimming instead of going to the movies because the mom's severely depressed. And you find out she's had so many miscarriages in her life, and it just sunk her deeper and deeper and deeper into depression, and it's like so sad. Like, but they just like killed her off at the start of the book, so fuck her. And he basically gets an erection when his daughter sits on his lap, very innocently sits on his lap. He gets an erection, and then after he blames his wife. This is all Sabrina's fault, I decide. Had she just gone to the movies with us, I wouldn't have had a creepy moment with my daughter. Fucking sick. You're blaming everyone but yourself that you're sick and twisted. Stop blaming everyone else. Excuse me? Anyway, doctor, I'm gonna try and make it through this flashback we're having right now without passing out, so excuse me. Oh my God, still in the same flashback. He's really angry and hard, so goes in and roughly has sex with his wife, consensually this time, and he's like, are you gonna come to the movies with us now? And she's like, you exhausted me, I'll sit this one out. I grip my teeth, I want to slap the shit out of her and knock some goddamn sense into her. She's single-handedly destroying her family. This poor woman, oh my god.
Are we meant to like his character? That's always the thing. You don't have to like characters. I can read books. That's why I was like, screw it, I'll just read it because I don't have to like the characters, but it can be an interesting story. This is just a bizarre story. A very messed up bizarre story, but nonetheless. But are we, I always like to see what the author's intentions are. Are we meant to be rooting for this guy who's just absolutely terrible? I don't know. Oh my. What do I look like? A train wreck. I finished the book, that's why I look like a train wreck and now I need alcohol. So from the last time I updated you, yada yada yada, she got pregnant again. And then the scene, that's quite infamous, comes up where the big spoiler is revealed, which I said I already knew. And funnily enough, already knowing the spoiler, like the twist at the end, even though I knew that, didn't change how I felt about the book. But we'll get onto my conclusions in a minute. So she is rummaging through some stuff while he's asleep and finds that she is adopted, that he is not her blood father. So she feels betrayed and hurt that he never told her because she's been so scared about her children coming into the world, born of incest, things like that, and he never once settled her mind by just telling her like, you're not my blood daughter. So she basically runs from the cabin in her heavily pregnant state. She's already having contractions, but her water hasn't broken yet. She's running and running, and then he chases after her, grabs her by the hair, and then pretty much just starts effing her while she's in labor. And it's disgusting. Yeah. So that happens. Then she gives birth, and that's fine. And she has the baby, and all is well, I guess, in the world. Then we do a little bit more of a flashback. There's lots of flashbacks in this book, and we find out that she, as she was adopted with her twin brother, who died, as we discussed earlier, she is a product of incest. Her biological mother, who they got her from when her and her brother were 2 years old, was sexually assaulted by her father. So our main girl is a product of incest. She doesn't know, she still doesn't know. I think there is a book 2, please don't make me read it. God, what can you carry on with this? I'm sure there's a sequel to this. So yeah. Because of course, why not? It just, right, look, it wasn't so much, I knew about the incest going in. I did. And here, I'm not going to bash anyone who enjoyed this book. I ain't going to bash the author. Write what you want. My problem was with the storytelling, mainly. Okay, I had many problems, let's be real. However, kind of felt like the author was trying to cram in so many, oh my god, that's wild, sorry, moments. Not only do you have the taboo topic of incest that you're trying to deal with, then you have this awful representation of the mother who has severe depression because she miscarries every child she's ever had. And she just gets further, every time she miscarries, she gets further and further into this darker place within her head until she is a shell of a woman. And you could have really used the opportunity to discuss grief and things like that and mental health within this book and depression and things like that, and how maybe the partner, the husband, was getting angry at her because that can happen because there's a miscommunication or they don't really understand what depression really is like for the other person. That can and mental health can, and miscarriages will tear relationships apart. They could have really delved into that with this book on, you know, dealing with grief and loss and all of this kind of stuff, but they didn't. It was just like she was this horrible woman. I bookmarked some stuff of how they talk about the mother. It's really horrible. Like, both of them are just really horrible. And then it's just the way she was just killed off so early in the book in this horrific way, which didn't have to be that horrific, and how they got over it so quickly, like neither of them cared. It's like he was like, finally I get to be with my, oh god. It was just, hold on, let me get my bookmarks up. With that, and then it's just like all of the amount of rape in this book, even if it's just mentioned or shown, it's just like, it's put in there to shock you, to be so crude and disgusting that it's just there to, for the sake of being there. It's like, what is the reason? You know what I mean? Hold on, let me try and find these bookmarks. This is just after she's been gang raped. She won't talk to her. She's just like lying in the bed. She's gone completely numb. I'm genuinely trying to bring her back to me. I've brought her cans of fruit that go untouched. I've tried telling her stories about Drew. Nothing makes her engage. It's so reminiscent of Sabrina, her mother, I could throw up. I refuse to let Devon be defeated. She's so much stronger than her mother. It's just like, this guy, and even she says like really snarky stuff about her mother. I mean, I guess she felt really rejected by her mother because they adopted her, lovely. Because they adopted her. It didn't fix or cure her mother, and she felt abandoned by her, which is, you know, fair on her side, but the father's side, I just don't get. Oh, yeah, so he proposes to her, this is the 64% mark, he proposes to her with her mother's wedding ring. She says, I take her hand and hold up her mother's wedding band. She would have wanted you to have this one day, I know it. Oh, I'm sure her mother would be elated with everything that has happened. Then, 80% through, they're talking about, because all the flashbacks, it shows that they actually wanted each other when she was like, still 16 I think, but things had started to get a bit wild. Oh, Blake's after a squirrel. You're never gonna get it, Blake. You're never gonna get it. Yeah, so they're talking about how there were moments with them before where they'd accidentally touched and stuff and were getting turned on by that. And they said, your mother was pushing us apart whether she realised it or not. We were both desperate for her love and affection, and when she denied us, we turned to each other. You've got to be kidding me. So this paedophile is pretty much blaming her dead mother for what he's doing. Okay. Sure. Okie doke. He also then says, I'm sorry I'm a paedophile of a father, but I'm not sorry about us. I can't. Okay, you know the bit I just said? When she went into labour, she ran away, found the adoption papers, he came after her, grabbed her hair, and yeah, pretty much just attacked her in the woods. But after that, it goes to his, and he talks about it, it's like, she's a mess. I effed her, and she was in goddamn labour. I'm disgusted with myself, and yet I know it had to be done. She needed to be claimed and stamped and owned. Mine. Effing mine. Thing is, like, I don't know about you, but no. Just a big fat no. That's the thing. There were so many opportunities with this book. You want to write about this kind of incest? Go for it. Like I said, you can write about anything you want. This was just so many missed opportunities to actually make a good story. It just felt like everything had to be shock value. Everything had to be either to do with death, violence, or rape. And if it wasn't about any of those things, it wasn't going in the book. It was like too much. It was so stupid. At the end, it was just almost like a fucking, a parody of something. Like, it was just, I'm sorry, it was just a ridiculous book. Honestly, from some of the reviews I read, I thought I would handle it a lot worse. I'm not going to say that it would be worse, because books are subjective. Everyone takes them how they take them. I could get through it, but it was gag-worthy. Obviously, like, for me, I couldn't, like, it was just too much. It was way too much, and especially when she kept saying daddy sometimes. No, I couldn't. But I kept going because I knew that's what it was about. You know, I went into this book knowing a lot about it, so I wasn't going to bash it on that. Like, I'm deciding to read this, okay? Fine. But yeah, it just felt like a bit over the top, a little bit ridiculous, a lot ridiculous. And of course she was a product of incest, because why not and of course it had to have been from rape and incest, and why not, because just put it in there. You might as well, I made it through within a day. I wasn't going to take a break in it. I wanted to just get it done. So yeah, that is my review of The Wild. I've learned this past week, after reading pretty tame forbidden romances up to this, like, straight out taboo, I can pretty much read anything. Now, I have read some dark romances before, which are a bit too much for me. Like, I can't, they're very, no. They hit too many triggers for me. Luckily for this, I went in very prepared. I knew a lot of things that were going to happen, so nothing was a shock to me. Whereas sometimes I read a dark romance and something will pop up, and I'm like, no, I'm triggered as hell, I need to put this down. Luckily with this, I knew what I was getting myself in for, and I just wanted to experience it for myself to see which side of the fence I lie on. Am I a 1-star or a 5-star? I'm a 1-star, just because I thought the story in itself was ridiculous. Now, I have read one of Kay Webster's other books, and that was with a brother and sister. I did that for my other video, the taboo video. That was way better. It was actually a half-decent story. I don't think I'd give it a rating in that. I haven't filmed that video yet. I don't think I'd give it a rating. I have lots to say about that book, but if I had to pick one to read again, it would be that one. And after reading that one and reading her writing, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this one a go, because, you know, maybe it's not as bad as everyone says. It was worse. So yes, I'm gonna stop rambling now. Hope you enjoyed this. I read The Wild by Kay Webster, so you don't have to. Unless you want to, then go ahead. You can only get it on her website. I think the ebook was like $3.99, is in dollars, so it's like £3. something like that, and you just like download it and set it all up. There's a guide, send it to your own Kindle. I have it on my phone, it's just quicker to read it on my phone. It wasn't too long. Yes, there you go. If there are any other books, banned books, forbidden books you'd like me to read, I'm realising my tolerance is quite high, so if you enjoyed this, let me know. If there are any other books you'd love for me to read, let me know as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Alright, loving, leaving, shutting up, and goodbye. Bye. 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 Bye-bye.